Welcome to episode 304 of the Various and Sundry podcast. I am your host, Matt Harmon, joined live from our virtual studio on the internet by my good friend, my colleague, my co-host, and the man who is already enjoying his paternity leave, John Scott Sloat.
Hey Doc, what's going on?
Well, this is a bit of a curveball that we've been thrown here. So,
You're telling me.
yeah. Um, so yeah, you're in your paternity leave. What's that
I,
about?
I am on, well, one goes on paternity leave. I don't know if you're aware of this. One goes on paternity leave because they have a baby.
Yes, well, uh, back in the ancient days when I was, when we were having children, paternity leave really didn't exist. Um, Maternity leave certainly existed, but not paternity leave.
Yeah, you mean
So
back in the
yes.
ancient days, like 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
Well, I mean, I had kids more than, 5 or 7 years ago, but yes.
Sure, sure. But I was talking to people at Grace who have kids that are in school, but not crazy old.
Early elementary, yeah.
Yeah, who are just like, man, if I would have gotten 2 weeks when so and so came, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Uh, so. Not going to
All right.
certainly enjoying it. 2 weeks is
Yeah.
better than nothing, but
Yeah.
really enjoying the time to be at home and bond and apparently record podcast and uh,
Hey, the show
uh,
has to go on, John. I mean, if we can do it when I'm basically blind in one eye and leaning on the couch at a 60-degree angle, I figure we can probably fit it into to your paternity leave.
yeah, I mean that's fair. We what was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things you got to do, right? There's a lot of phone calls. Like I was calling Andrea's disability insurance this morning. I was calling daycare centers this morning. I was
Yeah.
doing, we were at the doctor's office this morning for like our 3 day checkup, 4 day checkup, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk plenty about the baby here. And so we'll table the rest of that because this is going to be known as the baby episode. I mean, we had the wedding episode when my son Jake got married. And so now this is going to be known as the baby episode. So we're going to dedicate a lot of time to discussing that. But in the meantime, if you want to contact the show, you can find us on X at VNS Pod. You can email the show, various and sundry podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and on YouTube. And we would love for you to leave a 5-star rating on whatever platform you access the show. All right, John, let's talk a little sports as we are wont to do on this podcast.
Let's do
And
it. Yeah.
and not only did you have a baby, your Jets won.
Yeah. My daughter has never known the Jets to lose. Uh, and they have a bye week next week. So that will extend
Yeah.
beyond. So I think little Mia is a good luck charm for the New York Football Jets.
There you go. Yeah. So, um, obviously you're tuned into the Jets media, beat and all of that kind of thing. So, um, did Tyrod Taylor get hurt, or like I guess I was surprised to see that Justin Fields started because he got benched in the last game.
Yes,
So
yes. So he got benched. It sounds like as things were progressing throughout the week, Tyrod was going to start the game. However, it came up Friday that he had a bruised knee or a bone bruise on his knee or one of his, a bone around his knee, something with his knee and a bruise prevented him from playing. And so I think it's one of those things where Tyrod could have gone at 75%,
mhm.
but Justin Fields could go at 85, 90%. And I
Yeah.
just think you like those odds better.
Okay.
And Justin Fields played incredible. He had an incredible game. Bengals are a bad defense.
They are. Yes.
Full stop. However, you still got to complete passes. Still got to call the right plays. Still got to throw good balls. And he made some tough, difficult throws that looked really, really nice. And it seemed like he was throwing the ball on time, not holding on to it too long, and making hard throws without Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson did not play
Yeah.
in this game. So that was a really encouraging sign. And, it makes you wonder that concussion he received in week two, as he had lingering effects from that, some tough defenses through that stretch as well,
Hmm.
and is now just sort of getting back to normal. And we saw what we saw Sunday was similar to week one against the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah. I I feel badly for Justin Fields. I think he can be a good NFL quarterback. Not a great one, but a good
Yeah.
one in the right system. And let's be honest, he did not get treated well or was not coached well in Chicago.
Hmm.
He had his opportunities there in Pittsburgh, and he started what 6 or 7 games last year in Pittsburgh, and I think went like 5-2 or something like
Played
that.
really
Like,
well. Yeah.
in a good system with a good coach, and they went back to Russell Wilson when he got healthy, and then they decide to bring in Aaron Rodgers, and he ends up at the Jets, and I'm just not sure. We'll see. We'll see if he can get the kind of coaching he needs. But I was happy for him. He was actually pretty emotional in the post game press conference about the win.
Yes. I would. We also need to mention that Woody Johnson, the owner of the team, came out in the media at owners' meetings, which he's supposed to interact with the media, and said, well, we're doing great. If only we can complete a pass, directly criticizing Justin Fields,
Hmm.
who said, he said it wasn't because of these comments, but he said it was, uh, it had something to do outside of football. But he said he was in his closet crying this week, like just bawling in tears. Like it was an incredibly emotional week for him. And he's a pretty stoic
Hmm.
fella.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So any any other NFL games that caught your attention over the weekend here?
There was the injury in the Giants game. I don't know if you saw that guy
Yes.
carted off. I did
Yeah.
not. I intentionally did not look at the. It was an ankle, right?
Cam Scattaboo, who's had a good rookie year, and I was watching the game when it happened, and they never did show the replay.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't want to see, but when he first went down, I'm like, what's the big deal? And then you started to see the players like reacting, and clearly, when you see that kind of reaction, what you realize is his foot or leg is probably pointed in a direction that is not natural, or there's some bone that's, you
Yeah.
know, clearly exposed or something like that, that's pretty graphic. And so it made sense they didn't show that. Though my guess is that, somebody's got an angle of it and you can probably find it on Twitter if that's your thing, but definitely not my thing. But um so yeah, how good do you think the Colts are?
We were kind of talking about this last week. I don't even know. Did they win? Did they win on Sunday?
They beat the Titans, I think, right?
Okay, so nothing overly impressive there.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Titans aren't very good.
yeah, I think we talked about the Colts. I'm still in sort of a prove it mode with them. Like I don't think they've played anybody incredibly strong. So I still want to see more proof, I think is where I'm at. What do you think?
Yeah. Um, I would say the same. I mean, I think in general, it it's difficult in the NFL, even with a weak schedule, to go, what are they now? Are they 7-1?
7-1, yeah. But we did
I
this
mean,
last week. They beat the Dolphins. They beat Denver at home by 1 point.
that's
I
a
think
good win.
that's a good win. They beat the Titans. They lost to at the Rams. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Chargers in San Diego. That's a good
I
win.
think that's a good win too. Yeah.
And then they beat Tennessee.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the
Tennessee's
back
not good.
The back half of their schedule is tougher. I mean, Pittsburgh is kind of Jekyll and Hyde right now. You can't tell if they're going to win or lose.
That's right.
Um, the Falcons are a young team the week after that, and then Kansas City, Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Houston,
Hmm.
all good teams. And so we'll see what the back half of their schedule looks like.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, I let's mention briefly, as we record on this Monday afternoon, World Series, Dodgers and Blue Jays tied at one game apiece. Um, Not that either of us are watching. And I want to hit briefly college football. Ohio State had a bye, so they didn't play. The big headline coming out of the weekend in college football is the fact that LSU lost badly to Texas A&M at home and then fired Brian Kelly.
Yikes.
And these coaching these college coaches contracts, these buyouts are absurd. I think his is $53 million. And it was I think I saw someone say he will be getting paid something like $26,000 a day every day until like 2031
I'd
for
retire,
not
Matt.
coaching.
I'd be like, let me retire. Let me just do things I want to do at that point. I don't know.
That's just crazy. So
That's
these,
so much money.
yeah, yeah. And what I wonder is, at what point are these schools going to stop writing contracts like this that are so obscenely, you know, difficult on them to get rid of a guy? I mean, I guess coaches have the leverage in terms of saying, "Look, this is what it's going to cost to hire me."
Yeah.
But still, man, what a world.
Um, Keeping an eye on our state's team right now, but IU with another dominant performance over UCLA. Now
Yep,
UCLA is not very good,
correct.
but Indiana proved they're not very good. 56-6
Yeah,
is a stomping.
yeah, it is. Yeah, they're
It'll be
very good.
some
I think.
it'll be something to keep
I,
an eye on for sure.
I mean, I think here's my. I think IU is terrific. Here's my hesitation. Every team's gonna have a rough game, that kind of thing. But like they went on the road to Iowa, and Iowa is a very middling Big Ten team. And they were tied with Iowa with under 2 minutes to go. And Iowa had the ball. Now, to IU's credit, they forced a turnover and then scored to win the game. But, I look at that and I think, all right, well, Ohio State is a far greater version of what Iowa is. Much better defense and way better offense than Iowa. And so all of this talk, like I just want to say, let's pump the brakes on assuming that IU is the best team in the country. They're certainly one of the best teams in the country, but last year they went 10-2, or well, I guess probably like 11-2, but they lost to the only two teams that were really good, really, really good on their schedule. And they lost like pretty convincingly to both Ohio State and Notre Dame on the road, but still.
Sure.
And so I still have a bit of until they beat one of the big boys like that. I mean, they beat Oregon on the
I was
road.
going to say Oregon. Yeah.
That's their best. But then Oregon goes on the road and struggles against Wisconsin. So anyway, all I just want to say is like before we just assume that they're just going to keep running roughshod over people, I want to see them prove it a little bit more. But anyway, I want to get
They're a playoff team though, right?
oh,
They're
100%. Oh
okay.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They will probably go into the Big Ten championship game undefeated. I mean, everything is pointing to, with the maybe the exception of Ohio State having to go up to Ann Arbor at the end of the season, but everything's pointing to a Big Ten championship game of undefeated Ohio State against undefeated Indiana in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis on that first weekend of December.
That'll be fun.
But if that happens, it'll be amazing. We'll see. Um, I want to get to this NBA gambling scandal.
Yeah, yeah.
How much have you followed this?
Decently closely. I mean, now I think there's two things going on there, right? And I
Uh-huh.
think they're certainly related, but there's the specific NBA players giving information or throwing games, or maybe not throwing games, but padding certain stats or not getting certain stats, or giving information about minutes or not minutes, or injuries, not injuries, things like that. And so
Yes.
that's the Miami guy. What was his name?
Was that Terry Rozier or was that Damon
Rozier.
Jones? Rozier, yeah.
Rozier. So that seems to be him. And then there's these all these clips on Twitter about him just putting up ridiculous shots
Yeah.
or really
Terrible
bad.
turnovers where you're
Yes.
literally just like throwing it to the other team.
Yes. And then there's the second scandal. And they unless you connect them for me, I see them as unrelated that the arrest just happened to happen at the same time and were NBA related. Was Chauncey Billups
Hmm.
and I think a few other guys who would by his celebrity would entice big dollar guys to these underground poker games run by organized crime. And these organized crime guys had x-ray poker tables. I even heard one report, I haven't seen this anywhere else, that they had contact lenses that would identify face cards or something like that. Uh,
Yes.
just
That
by some sort of ink on the back of the card that was invisible to
hmm
regular eyesight, but this contact lens would let you know. There's some really high-tech Mission Impossible. If Mission Impossible happened in
Yeah.
an underground casino, and they would use Chauncey Billups, and apparently Chauncey was taking a cut as well.
Yeah.
So, you- are those separate in your mind? Are those two different scandals that the arrest just happened at the same time? Or are those related as you understand the story?
Now I haven't done the deep dive, but I thought there was some connection that Chauncey Billups even I mean he's is he still or was at the time the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, right?
I believe still. I mean, he might be on
Okay.
administrative leave or something, but still, I believe.
And I don't know, maybe this hasn't been like proven, but I think there was the suspicion that he too was also giving inside information about playing time and injuries and that sort of thing. I could be wrong on that. But
But this is
you know,
big. This is as big of a. I'm trying to think of another sports betting scandal. Maybe I mean, there's that NBA referee they got a few years ago.
Tim Donaghy, yeah.
That feels pretty minor.
And there, I mean, there's a lot of chatter that this is the tip of the iceberg. That that there's more to it than this, but this is what they have charged so far.
Well, in my understanding is federal prosecutors do not bring charges unless they know they can win.
Yeah.
And so if they're bringing these charges, these guys are cooked, you know?
Hmm.
These guys are really cooked.
But I will just go back to, is it, this should be no surprise. Like these sorts
No.
of things are going to happen, especially once the major sports leagues decided we're going to go all in on sports betting. Instead of trying to keep it at an arm's length, we're going to make partnerships and make truckloads of money off of this. And this is going to, these kinds of things are going to keep happening. There's just too much money available. And it's, it's one of those things where it's just too easy in one sense. Now, obviously, they caught this because they monitor, irregularities in terms of how much money is bet on, wow, there sure is a lot of money on this Rozier guy hitting the under like 5 games in a row or like 5 times in the last 2 months. And he's, hit it. And some people have made some serious money on that,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But yeah, no
Now,
surprise.
where does this compare to something like what in your mind, what's the biggest sports gambling scandal all time? Is it Black Sox?
I mean, historically, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, that feels like the mothership out there. That's the
Hmm.
big one. I don't think it's as big as that. Definitely more money, but I don't think it's as
But it's
big as
yeah,
that.
as far as we know, it's one player. It's not like multiple players on the same team essentially fixing an outcome of a game. I mean, there was the there were a couple of players on the Boston College men's basketball team back in
Yeah, I
was it
remember
the
that.
80s. There was a 30 for 30 on that.
That's what I remember. I remember the 30 for 30.
And then obviously with Pete Rose in baseball,
Yeah.
but he alleges he always bet on his team to win, never bet on his team to lose, and whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
It is a new facet of the sports betting because I imagine back then, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm looking to you as my sports gambling expert. Uh,
yeah.
um, it was always there were a lot fewer prop bets. There was a lot fewer
Yes.
like Jordan gets 30 points and 17 rebounds,
Yeah. Hmm.
plus Rodman gets 15 points or what these sort of prop
Yes.
bets, right?
Yep.
They're because of technology, because of apps, because of the size of these companies and the rapidity with which they're growing, it seems like there's a lot more of those sorts of things, and there's a lot more room on the margins to be like, well, I could get under 5 assists for you, and you could bet against that,
Yeah. Yep.
and you could win a lot of money, and I just won't pass the ball that much.
Hmm.
So it does seem like it's a new facet, and it's going to be more difficult to root it out.
Yes, I think there's more opportunity. I have seen some people say though, with the level of like analytics that go into observing and watching trends in betting, that it's actually easier to catch in one
Hmm.
sense because you can spot irregularities more easily with wow, all this sudden there's this all this money moving on this player consistently hitting unders or on this team, doing this. Like that's part of the counter argument. I mean, from the beginning, I was like, this is a terrible idea for the integrity of the game to have
Sure.
these sports leagues in bed with with these gambling sites. Like that just seemed like you're selling your soul for a paycheck here.
Well, and they're everywhere. I mean, there's MGM has one, DraftKings. I mean, there's 7 or 8 of these gambling sites, and like you can't watch a sports. You can't watch the World Series. You can't watch a basketball game. You can't watch um, a commercial without running across. I mean, there was a joke on social media of the director of the FBI sort of announcing this investigation, announcing the arrest that happened. And there was a joke that over his shoulder was like brought to you by DraftKings, right? That
Yeah.
that they had sponsored
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
because
For sure.
they're just everywhere.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how that develops. But all right, John, it is time now to do the medium dive. I won't say deep dive. We'll go medium dive into what we're referring to as the baby episode here. So, um, I've got a series of questions. We'll see where our discussion goes.
Yeah,
And okay, so talk us through because this was significantly early. Yes.
yeah, 4 weeks early.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously this is catching you by surprise when this
Yep.
happens.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
So walk us through kind of the going into labor event. Like what's was there lead up? Like I mean, talk us through that.
So, first of all, let me say my wife is a champion.
Yeah, of course. She's great.
She is a far more prepared person than I am. Just generally in life, she's very proactive, gets things done far in advance. Where I am, you know, I sort of live by the axiom like you need some sort of last minute pressure to really fuel creativity. Um, and I sort of apply that to a lot of deadlines and a lot of projects where like The last 2 weeks, I think my creative juices really get flowing on a project,
Hmm.
and I really produce some good stuff. But I don't work nearly as far in advance as my wife does on things. All that to say, that came up in this situation. So my wife has had a bag packed for the hospital for like 3 months. Um, in the car seat was in the car. We installed the base months ago. We She was ready to go. She kept going, John, you need to pack a bag for the hunt. And I just had not done it yet. And so it was Tuesday night last week. It was, well, I guess it would have been Wednesday morning. Andrea woke me up at 1 a.m. and goes, my water broke. We need to go to the hospital. And I just sort of woke up and said, I'll pack a bag. And
Did she give you an I told you so?
no, I think there was too much surprise and stress.
Okay.
Um, so, and I'm a very fast packer at the end of the day. So
I
I
mean,
had a
what do you,
bag.
at that point, what do you really need? You throw in some underwear, a change of clothes, and a toothbrush, and you're like, I'm good. Maybe some deodorant. Like,
Yeah. Well, and you want to know what? I part of my job is travel, right? So I
yeah,
keep a fully stocked kit of travel supplies just
yeah.
ready to go at a drop of a hat. So I just threw that in the bag, couple changes of clothes, and we went to the hospital, which is about 10 minutes from our house, which, we're super close, not a big deal.
Yeah.
We called ahead, let them know we were coming. We showed up, and one of Andrea's big fears was that she'd get to the hospital and they'd tell her to go home.
Hmm.
And so all that to say, they're asking her on the phone. They go, "Well, have you noticed a change in your baby's movement?" She goes, "She's not moving. She's normally moving all the time. She's not moving." And so we're kind of freaking out on the drive to the hospital. We get in there, they strap on the heart rate monitor and the contraction monitor, which is a thing that I didn't know existed.
Hmm.
Because she hadn't been experiencing contractions. That was the other thing that was weird about this, and her water broke, right? Uh, and strapped on the heart rate thing. The heart rate was there immediately, good strong heartbeat. And she just goes, I haven't been experiencing contractions, and they're looking at their monitor going, yes, you have. You have been experiencing contractions. And then they just sort of she eventually just sort of vocalizes like, I'm fearful of getting sent home from this. They go, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And
The
so
water breaking is kind of a pretty big moment there that, yeah.
yeah, and so we got to the hospital 1:15, 1:20 by 2. We were in a delivery room. And then I conked out and I went to sleep. Apparently the doctor came by to talk to her, the attending, and I slept through that. And um, yeah, we had great nurses that came in like every half hour to check on us. They were super friendly,
Hmm.
super nice. It was overall a great experience over at Parkview. So that was the going into labor event.
Okay. So, so basically labor starts a little after 1 o'clock, 1
Yeah.
a.m. Wednesday morning. And
Yeah.
what time was the baby born?
4:38 p.m. the next day.
Okay, so basically about a 15-hour labor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Um, so you mentioned you got some sleep. How else did you occupy your time during the labor?
I mean, honestly, was uh, canceling work meetings for the next day, and letting people know that I was not coming. So that was part of it. Uh, Listening to podcasts, reading about sports gambling, events that were taking place actively in that moment. Um, I did not try to explain them to my wife, who was in labor, because that would not have been a good situation. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was that. I mean, trying to talk and comfort Andrea. How you feeling? How can I help? Do you need anything?
Hmm.
Um, I would run to the cafeteria and get food. Women can't eat in labor or aren't supposed to eat in
Yeah.
labor, so I was not allowed to bring food to the room. I had to eat in the cafeteria and then return. So
Okay.
um, went to get coffee a couple of times, stuff like that.
Okay. So, you mentioned, yeah, so you have 15-hour labor.
Hmm.
I just remember when our boys were born, you mentioned like the contraction monitor that they put you on, and it was funny. I remember um, once Kate had the epidural, uh, you know, she she that obviously helped with the pain management and just being able to see on the contraction monitor the spike go up. You'd be like, whoa, that looked like that was a big one, Kate. Yeah. And her be like, yeah. So it's kind of weird that you can like monitor that, like a, like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
an
it
EKG except for the contractions. Yeah.
well, it was funny because we got in there and Andrea just goes, she says, "I'm not having contractions." I go, Yeah, you are." She goes, "Really? I'm not feeling them."
You
And
will.
then and then like within 30 minutes, it was just like, "Ooh, ooh, I feel that." And
Uh-huh.
then it got
Yeah.
pretty rough.
Yeah.
About probably probably between 6 and 9, it got really rough.
Yeah. And so, did you guys do like a Lamaze or a birthing class beforehand?
We did an online one. So they had like an online course ready to go at Parkview,
Hmm.
which was really, really helpful because I did not want to go sit in a birthing class. Uh,
Amen.
because like they put you in a big class with other people, and like I am not going through
Yep.
this with other people. Uh, so
Yeah.
so yeah, we just did that.
Okay. All right. So, tell us the name.
Yeah, so Mia Elizabeth Sloat.
Okay. And um, is there any particular significance to that choice, like family history or anything like that?
No, 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 no real significance, other than like, I have a very common name, like
Hmm.
perhaps in the history of the world, one of the more common names.
At least in the history of the English speaking world, yes.
Yes, yes. Uh, and then there's a French version, there's a Greek version, there's a,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a version of my name in all these different languages. And so I always wanted and I always use the term unique, not weird name. So
Okay.
I always wanted a name that you could recognize and easily pronounce. Uh, but you didn't necessarily, she wasn't going to have a class of 10 of these. Like I,
Yeah.
I remember my physics class in high school was 12 people. Five of them were named John.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want that experience for my daughter. So
Right.
we settled on, and then I think Andrew is a bit more traditional, likes the traditional names, and uh, we like the name Elizabeth, and so we went with that for the middle name.
And how long have you had the name ready to go?
Probably 3 to 5 months. We've had it ready to go.
Okay.
We were like 80% committed to it, but wanted to reserve the right to change our minds at the last minute.
All right. And I'm not going to ask you to reveal what these were, but did you have another one or two that were strong contenders that didn't make the cut this time that you might kind of hold on to for any potential future daughters that the Lord may
I'm sure
give
my
you?
wife does. I do not. So I will start afresh. I did well. I take that back. I definitely have one that I'll hold on to. But I will lose that battle in the future because I lost that battle in this moment.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it seems right that the spouse who physically births the child should probably, get deference on that.
Sure, sure, sure. And it's a collaborative experience, right? So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
worked on it together.
Yeah. Kate and I could have named like four girls super easily. So of course the Lord gave us boys.
Hmm.
And we struggled to come up with like not that we it took us a while to settle on the names that we chose. And our youngest son um, didn't have a name for the first, I don't know, couple 3 hours of his life.
Hmm.
So, all right. So how is little? Oh, well, actually, so you end up since she was a month early, you ended up
Yeah.
spending an extra night in the hospital, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
So
as a precaution.
she's a preemie. So she's a premature, which not significantly premature, which she'll have like if you're premature enough, you have like some developmental issues and things like that.
Yeah.
But she's like I think what they call like near term or preterm, but
Hmm.
technically a preemie. Um, we stayed. I'm counting that first night. The we arrived at 1
Yeah.
a.m. That's one night, and then we
Hmm.
had 2 nights after that at the hospital. So we were there a while.
Yeah.
We were there a long while.
And now you're at home, so I assume both mother and baby are doing all right.
Yeah, yeah, mom's doing great. Baby, we just had a doctor's appointment this morning. Lost a little bit of weight, which she's so small that it's concerning. She was born 5 pounds 3 ounces and was 4 pounds 12 ounces at her weigh-in today. So we are desperately trying to get her to increase weight. She's super tiny. I mean, just
Yeah.
incredibly small.
Well, you got to get her in the weight room, John. I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I usually like ice cream and soda does the trick for me. Maybe it'll work for her, you know.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. How is Mia sleeping?
Really well. So waking up probably every 2 hours to
Okay.
eat, change, things like that. We're doing a little bit more frequent feedings than a traditional full term baby, so she can add on more weight and calories and things like that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, she's doing all right. I mean, she needs to be rocked a little bit to really cement in sleep. And once you do
Mhm.
that, she's usually out like a light.
Okay. So, who do you think she looks like?
I still think there's a little bit of a debate here.
Okay.
I'm not sure my wife and I have strong preferences or thoughts on who she looks like. Other than she's a good-looking baby. We like her. I think she's cute. But
That's good. Yeah.
that she was born and comes out covered in all sorts of gunk and stuff. And
Yep.
the nurses, because there's like 12 I counted at one point. There's like 12 nurses in the room along with the doctor.
Hmm.
Uh, and the nurses just pulled the baby out, and looked at her and goes, "John, she looks just like you." And I went like, "How am I
Okay.
supposed to take that? She's covered in all sorts of guts." In fact, like Andrea and I are in tears. We're so excited, and
Yeah.
I look at Andrea. I'm like, "How am I supposed to take that comment?" She's covered in guts, and she looks just like me. And then my mom's been adamant that she looks just like Andrea. So who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Well, and again, you get initial impressions, and then obviously as they grow, that can change. But okay, so biggest surprise so far about caring for a newborn.
Just how small. I just how small she is. I mean, she's just crazy small. Fits between like my elbow and the palm of my hand,
Yep.
is just
Yeah. Yep.
super small. The other thing is just how much cleaning and sterilizing and, all those things that go into this. And, you're supposed to feed, uh, they sleep 2 hours and then you change and feed. And,
Yeah.
with the cleaning in there, you're getting like 45 minutes to yourself. It's just
Yeah.
everything's moving very quickly.
For sure. For sure. And how are your diaper changing skills?
Um, I I think they're fine. Yeah, I mean it's not my favorite thing in the world to do. She also she the doctor commented on this today because she sat on the table today and just had her legs lifted off the table like she was doing some sort of. Have you ever seen 6 inch drills
Yes.
to like work on abs?
Hmm.
She was basically doing that on the doctor's table for like 2 minutes today. Um, and the doctor's like feeling her like she's like tone. She's got like a lot of muscle in these legs. And so you'll be like changing her diaper. She doesn't like it. And so she
Yeah.
like kicks your hand
Yeah.
and and it has enough force that it like knocks your hand away. And
Yeah.
so there's some trickiness. She's also, I mean, she's in preemie diapers, so they're just
Yeah.
absolutely tiny, tiny.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. I will say that without going into too much detail, it is generally easier, I think, probably to change a an infant girl's diaper than an infant boy's diaper because of how the anatomy works, and we'll just leave it at that. So,
Yeah, there's a
um,
spray and pray feature to changing a boy's diaper for
yeah,
sure.
there's a sequence to learning, clean and cover, lest you be hit. So, um, and did you get to cut the umbilical cord?
It was the plan to cut the umbilical cord. I think I said yes like 3 times. However, as Mia was being born, her heart rate was dropping, not a ton, but enough that
Hmm.
it was causing some concern. And so the doctor wanted to get her out immediately and make sure she's okay. I didn't get to cut the umbilical cord, which is, it's fine by me.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha. Well, that's very exciting, John. I know you and Andrea have been eager to have kids for a while, and it's great to
Oh
see
yeah.
the Lord has answered that prayer, and uh, grateful that everything went uh, as smoothly as it did, and everybody seems to be healthy. So
Yeah, I
grateful
mean,
for
outside
that.
of being born early, everything's been pretty textbook. So,
Nice,
outside of
nice.
being an 8 month pregnancy instead of a 9 month pregnancy, it's been pretty textbook.
Yeah, yeah, nice, nice. All right, John, I believe it is time now for this day in sports history.
All right, this day in sports history, October the 28th. Is that tomorrow? The 28th. Wow.
Yeah,
Uh, that will make my daughter 6 days old, right? Born on the 22nd. So 6 days old.
there you go.
Uh, October the 28th, 1961. They broke ground on Municipal Stadium, which later becomes known as Shea Stadium in Queens, home of the Mets until 2008
There you go.
when they built
I
Citi Field.
I threw that in there for you, John. I knew you'd appreciate it.
Yeah. 1962, New York Giants quarterback Y.A. Tittle
Yep,
passes for 7 touchdowns versus the Washington, I guess it was back then, the Redskins
it
in
was.
a
Yeah,
49-34 win.
indeed.
1973, Elmore Smith of the Lakers blocked 17 shots in a game, setting an NBA record. It's a lot
That's a
of
lot.
blocks. Hey, the NBA started, by the way. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, well, we don't tend to pay attention to the NBA until post Christmas anyway.
Yeah,
But yes, the
that's true.
season has started. Yes.
Knicks are 2-1 by some title picks for the Knicks this year, which is very exciting. 2012 Baseball World Series, the San Francisco Giants beat the Tigers 4-3 in 10 innings in Game 4 at Comerica Park and swept the Tigers 4-0 for the Giants' second title in 3 years. MVP was Pablo Sandoval, Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
We saw him, you and I saw him play later in his career as a pinch
Yes,
hitter for the Atlanta Braves.
that's right. That's right.
Um, All right, where are we at here? 2015, in the
Yep.
longest first game of the Baseball World Series, 5 hours and 9 minutes. My goodness. And joint longest by inning, 14. The Kansas City Royals beat the New York Mets 5-4. I think I watched that whole game.
I imagine so.
I yeah. Anyway, 2018, Ukrainian tennis star Alina Svitolina registers her biggest win of her career when she rallies for what is that? 2-1 victory
Uh-huh.
over the American Sloane Stevens in a classic WTA finals title decider in Singapore.
Yeah. Elena Svitolina would be my guess.
Svitolina. Yeah, the SV is a tough one.
It is. It is. All right. So who do you like out of this list, John?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, are we going Kung Fu Panda? Are we going Elmore Smith? Are we? I know we're not going Elena Svitolina. I know
No,
we're
we're
not
not
going
doing
with
that.
her.
We're not going with the Royals winning a game. Um,
No. Y.A.
Probably.
Tittle? I mean,
Let's go Y.A. Tittle. That's a good one.
okay. All right. Y.A. Tittle it is. One thing you liked.
I'm just going to say Mia Elizabeth Sloat and leave it at that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, I'm going to go with a new resource that's come out. It's called the Connecting Scripture New Testament. I showed you a copy of this
Yes.
last week. But what makes this unique is it's a New Testament in the CSB translation, but in the text of the Bible, every Old Testament quotation is put in blue colored font, and every Old Testament allusion is put in green colored font, and then matched to the cross references in the side column. And then at the bottom, there are study notes that explain the significance of what's going on with those allusions and Old Testament allusions and quotations. So, highly recommend this. I think it really does open up some new ways of reading and understanding Scripture. And so, you can find that, of course, on Amazon. There's different covers of there's hardback. There's a couple of leather editions, etc. And so that's called the Connecting Scripture New Testament. And that is my one thing I liked.
Nice.
All right, John, we have talked about the Jets winning. We have talked about an NBA gambling scandal. We have talked about Mia Elizabeth Sloat.
Hmm.
We have talked about Y.A. Tittle. And we've talked about Mia Elizabeth Sloat. And we talked about the Connecting Scripture New Testament. And so I think, by definition, we have covered our various and sundry topics. And so all that's left to say is, until next time, the Lord bless y'all real good.
Later.